Before you know it, Wednesday is upon us. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Welcome back. It's Wednesday. Love to have everyone on here on Wednesday, especially the European people. Got some stuff to discuss, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum. What's going on? What can we expect? It's the start of a new quarter. It's the middle of the week. What's coming? How much longer is it going to take? Well, let's get into it, shall we? It's not crypto after dark. It's crypto before dark, and I hope everyone's excited. So, if you haven't done so, go hit like. They're free. No one charges for likes. It costs nothing to push us around and help us move forward in the old YouTube algorithms. So, Bitcoin appears to be stuck in this wedge at the bottom. One would call this a bear flag because we are in a bearish trend down. And the price continues to fail to break key levels. What key levels am I speaking of? Mostly I'm talking about 20,000. As you know, we've been fiddling around with 20,000 for a couple good weeks now, pretty much a month, dancing around, playing, touching, moving, going above, going below, back and forth with 20,000. It's becoming clear that the 20,000 level is very important. I spoke twice already on other live streams about the level of 20,000 on the monthly chart. What does that mean? Wow, there's a really loud helicopter flying over our house. Anyway, I've talked about that level multiple times of what that would mean. The first ever monthly close under the $20,000 level happened this month across all exchanges. So, what does it tell us? Well, and honestly, it tells me that that's a mostly high time frame bearish scenario. That high time frame bearish scenario will have moments on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, going all the way down the low time frames like the 4 hour or even lower, where those same actions go dancing around very rapidly. You have these sharp little moves up, followed by sharp moves down, back and forth it goes. Don't let this fool you, all right? We've seen this action before. This is part of the game, and I'm clued into it now, and I'm not going to fall for it like I have before. So I've got the, Bitcoin CME chart pulled up right here on the daily. As you see, we've jumped over the 821 EMA. We do not have an 821 EMA cross yet on this one. Other exchanges do have that 821 EMA cross, but I'm going to warn you all, an 821 EMA cross on the daily in a downtrend doesn't necessarily mean go buy. I've talked about this before. It's an early indicator, and I understand there may mean more up after this. Is it really worth buying for only making a little bit? You've got to decide at what point buying is worth it or not worth it. How much reward can you get for buying said item? Now, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tesla, Google, gold, doesn't really matter. What are you buying and how much can you make? If my goal here for Bitcoin was to buy and a realistic level on this particular chart of the 50-day moving average is about 21,165. Realistically, if it were to hit that price, because it's likely to, that's 5%. In order for me to have a good risk reward for that 5%, I can't risk more than 2.5% of my portfolio on this trade. Is it worth risking 2.5% to make 5%? The answer to me is no, it's not. It's not worth it. I don't want to put a leverage trade in here and try to long this in the middle of a downtrend. It's too risky. That means spot only. And if I'm doing spot only and it's only 5%, I'm sorry, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it to me. Now, it may be worth it to you, and you may have a different thought process behind this. And you may think, I think I'll buy this and I'll get my money out of it. That's great. And listen, I fully support you on that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to do it. I wanted to show you these key levels on purpose. You can clearly see the wedge that we're in. The wedge here shows that this thing could drive all the way to mid-October. Dead in the middle of the month, actually, October 15th, is right about where my cursor is right there. All right, and that's on the weekend. That following Monday would be the 18th. So it's fair to say this could drive out to the middle of the month, back and forth like it's doing right now. You've seen this same price action happen multiple times. ran up and hit the 50, made a trend. Ran up through the 50, touched the trend. Running up now toward the 50, will it hit it? There's a likelihood that it will. Now that's just on the CME chart. Here is the non-CME chart, more of a regular exchange chart. This is the index chart for TradingView in general. They give you all the data and they put it out here for you. This goes all the way back 2009. You see here that level of 21,130 actually lines up on the 100 moving average instead of the 50 moving average like the CME chart did. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that the price will go up there and touch that? It kind of looks like it will. You had one solid green candle that blew right through the 821 EMA. This candle that's currently on right now came back down and tested the top of that 8 EMA, bouncing around. I imagine it's going to try its best to hold 20,000 here for a little bit. Can it make it? We're going to find out. It's held over the $20,000 level several times on the week. I imagine it's going to try it again. Can it do it for the rest of the month? That's the real test. I think October, November, and December are all going to be relatively ugly or flat. I know people like to look back in history and say, oh, no, November means we're going to make money. I'm not so sure about that. You can look at it and go, every 4th October is red. Does that mean this October is going to be red? It's the 4th one, but there's no guarantee of that. That's just me looking at past history to gauge whether or not that history could happen again. I've said this before. I would love for the price to go up here. I don't want to see the price go way down. I don't want that to happen. I want all these prices to go up. I want the tide to rise, and I want everybody who lost money to have a chance to afford themselves the ability to make more, make up what they lost, and then make an abundance on top of that. I can't lie and say that these charts are bullish. They're just not. Let's explain that a little bit more by simply showing some trend lines. So I'm going to take the indicators off here. No need for those when you're doing trend lines. You can just use price action. This is very clearly under this short-term downtrend that's been happening all the way back since the beginning of summer in June. The entire summer went down. Not great. You spent moments of up, but then more down than up. This same rhythmic price action of rises with lower highs and lower lows continues to happen across the board. Now, you're getting a couple dailies that are a higher low, except it's not a high time frame higher low. It's only high time frame lower lows, which are all downtrends. If we can break this trend line and hold it, that opens up the ability to go for the next trend line. And where is the next trend line? Well, I'll show you here. Here's the bigger trend line. This one goes all the way out to, if we're over the price right now, 29,840. Can we break that one? This is just a sharper short-term downtrend. This much larger downtrend is more of a signal of the bear market. Can we break that? I have 3 key levels here ready to go if it doesn't break that level. If it can't get over this trend line and it struggle buses its way all the way to the trend line just to fail again, I have 3 levels in purple right here already marked out, ready to rock. Why do I have these levels marked out? You may ask. Well, let's pull some fibs and find out. We've found out, historically speaking, that over the years, Bitcoin has done 85 to 90% drops from the bull run peak. Historically speaking, that's what Bitcoin has done every single time there was a halvening and a run. Okay? We must understand that that's the truth, and that's just all there is to it. Now, this last halvening, we're able to see that we fell about 85%. About 85%. I'll go back to the old Bitcoin chart and show you that that's the same case here. All right. And that's where I got this green box. We can go back even farther to a even later past bull run back in 2013. How big was that fall? To where we're at in the timeline, about 86%. back to 2011. How far did it fall? In our timeline where we're at, about 93%. So 93, 87, 85. I would expect at least an 80% pullback here. That seems realistic. It's done that before. 80 to 85% seems realistic. Where would that put us at percentage-wise? All right, so if I pull this down here, you see right now we're at 70%. We hit a low of 74%. Where would 80% put us? 80% would put us at $13,500. Maybe it only goes 78.6%, right? 786 level. That's a realistic number. That's a fib number. We use that fib number all the time. If it went 78.6%, that puts us at 14,750. All these numbers are much, much lower than the price that we're at right now. Fair? Realistically speaking, until this trend breaks, I expect this to happen. Trend breaks and we move up, I can change my opinion here and we can shift back into a different perspective, a more bullish perspective or a more price increase perspective. But I simply can't do that until I see this trend break and hold. We've had zero evidence that we are ready for a bull market. I know people are trying their very best to find the most possible bullish scenarios they possibly can to talk about how we've hit the bottom, and it's definitely the bottom. And you're wrong, Keith. It's most likely 100% the bottom. I know a guy who knows these charts better than anyone ever in the history of the world. He's 100% accurate, and he's called the top and bottom every single time, and he says we're at the bottom, so we must be at the bottom, right? That's what no less than 3 people have told me in the last week. I base all my opinions on the chart. I hope you guys all know that. It's all based on the chart. I'm never going to do anything different than that, and the chart still shows me sideways or down. Again, if you weren't here earlier, sideways from now till mid-October is possible. That's where the wedge ends out. From there, can we break north or can we break south? We will play the break either way. We'll buy or sell the break either way. How far can we go? We're going to find out. I still see bearishness, 16,000 and a half for sure. 15,000 is possible. 13,500 seems nuts. There's support at 10,000. There's also 2 CME gaps right below 10,000. So do we get a quick wick that jumps down there real quick and shoot, comes down and hits that 10,000 area and then pulls right back up? I think that's fully possible. What will cause that? Here's an interesting question. People have asked me multiple times, including today. Someone was nice enough to hop in there and tell me that news made things happen. Great. Recently, Russia has announced that they want to allow all Bitcoin transactions to go through. Why? Because they're having a little bit of money problems there. So they want as much movement as money as they can get. What say you a counter by the U.S. government that says we're going to go and look into every single transaction that goes to Russia? Would you count that as bearish news? Most people probably would. If that's the case, there's your excuse for why the price falls. I can come on here and literally say this every single week 3 times. And then someone still will throw a news article up in my face to tell me, oh, no, Keith, you're wrong. Okay, I get it. If your whole game is to tell me that I'm wrong all the time, you are playing the wrong game. Perhaps you should put some of that effort that you put into proving me wrong into the charts. You would be blown away by the results you'll get if you just stick to the charts and let everything else you can't control go. Hopefully some people understand what I'm trying to say. I can't make you change. I don't want to make you change. I've given up on trying to change people. All I can do is give you the information that I've got and show you why I think that. So let's say hey to everyone. I haven't done that yet. 47 people on, 20 likes. If you guys will go hit like, we'd love to have likes because it moves us up the algorithm. Also, don't be afraid to talk on here. Come over here and say hey in the chat. I try to talk to everyone. I'm all for beginners coming in here, people who don't know much or want to know more. Share this around social media and let's move it around so more people can see it. We can get more people in here to learn. All right. What's up, A&J? Good to see you, brother. Ron Poteet, what's up? Thor's hammer strong up 8%. Well, I guess that means we're going to the moon. A. Phillips, good to see you, brother. I turned the volume way the fuck up. Ropadope, Manolo, Andreas, Shorty Guzman, Patrizio, what's up, dude? Barbas, what's up, brother? Saif, what's up, dude? Squeaked by the chin, hair on his chinny chin 2 weeks in a row on fantasy. Son of a bitch. Elias Samadakis, good to see you, brother. That's Greek as hell. Let's go. Aiden Ward, what's up? Shorty Guzman says sanctions, right? Arizola, brother, what's up? Good to see you. He says, afternoon, everybody. Manalo, what's up? Nate S. Rob Saif says, make it go up, Keith, right? Architecture, what's up, dude? Oksana, good to see you. I'm still sitting number 2, homie. Sitting number 9. Yeah, I know, dude. I've lost 2 weeks in a row. 1 week I lost by what? 2 points. Last week I lost by 5. Like, competitive but losing. What are you going to do? I've had Jamar Chase not show up multiple weeks in a row. Matthew Stafford just magically decided to have the worst game of his year so far last night or Monday night, whatever. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Matthew Stafford. You know, like, come on, dude. Everybody on my team can't get it together at one time. And it keeps wasting away the really good games that they have because everyone else has a bad game. Good news is I won some money on DraftKings, so whatever. That one I was second in and only lost to Nick by 2 points, and he had almost the same players as me. So whatever. Hawkinson, and I would have won everything, but it's all good. So there's my Bitcoin take. Let's move on to some other stuff. I want to talk about the S&P 500 a bit here. I think it's important. And I want to talk about the NASDAQ top 100. Right? It's important. S&P 500. I had some guy on Twitter tell me he was going to school me on charts because we don't know what we're talking about. Cool. And then then I found out, I'm just trying to talk shit, not really trying to school you. Well, then why do you say the things you say? Like, I take this shit serious. It's my life. It's my job. I don't aim to belittle anyone. When you come at me, expect me to come back. When you start coming at me with hate and stuff, I'm going to either block you, try to help, or give it right back. I tried giving it back. No matter what I did, it was, I have more money. I'm better. I'm smarter. That's what I was told. So whatever, dude, you're the man. That's what I'm going to tell everybody. You're the man, and let's move on. So we kind of saw this bounce coming based on the S&P 500, smacking the levels that it did and pulling back. It ran all the way to the 50-month moving average. Didn't quite hit it yet, okay? Pretty wild to watch. Weekly blew right through everything all the way to the weekly 200 moving average and has bounced off of that. I fully expected that to happen. Now, why do I have 3 green boxes drawn? Those 3 green boxes represent where else it can fail to. Now, that's going to be a tough sell for that to fail that far. If this level continues and we can't get back over the 821, hold on, I'm lagging. Let me close this. If we can't get back over the 821 EMA, back over the 50 and the 100 moving average that are rolling over right now and about to cross downward on the weekly chart for the first time, literally since 2016. That's how long it's been since the 50-day moving average crossed the 100-day moving average. 6 years, okay? And look what's happening right here. The 50-day is about to cross the 100-day, okay? And that's week, actually. The 50 moving average is about to cross the 100 moving average. I'll put it that way. First time in 6 years. Is that bullish? I don't think so. That tells me that this thing's got a lot of work to make up. Can it get out of this hole and bounce up? Yes, it can. It can. I wouldn't be willing to take a chance on this until it does. Would I be willing to buy this down here and ride this way up? No. I want to see it break back over these levels, potentially break this trend line right here first. If it can break some trend lines, we can start talking about, okay, yeah, stocks are going to start coming back up here. There's been a lot of talk recently about how current top crypto assets follow the NASDAQ 100. I don't hate that sentiment. I really don't. I'll add to it. If it's following the NASDAQ 100, when the NASDAQ goes down 3%, is the same crypto assets going down 3%? And the answer to that is no. It's moving much, much, much more rapidly. You're seeing that cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, and those top ones are moving extremely rapidly, although in the same positions as the NASDAQ top 100, much more rapidly. So what do we see happening on the NASDAQ 100? It did the same move, hit the weekly 200 moving average, and bounced back off. Similarly, 50 moving average has crossed the 100 moving average for the first time in literally recorded history for the NASDAQ 100. It's never happened before. So, what next? Well, this is not bullish, okay? I want to see this break this trend line before I ever get involved with any options here. It's just not worth the risk to me. I think the risk for downside at the current position is still higher than the risk for upside. I need to see it break so many barriers before I'd be willing to commit on a call option here any kind of length of time. There could be much more down ahead here. Now, there are a few particular influencers who say things, and I literally want to do the opposite of them every time because I know that they don't know what they're doing. And I also know that the things that they say they're going to do actually are different than what they actually do, money-wise. Okay? Once you become one of the people like I am now, which is an influencer, you start finding out other stuff via all the other people of how people do things. Most of these guys don't give out their wallet information and talk about their portfolios like I do. So you're not sure what they're ever actually doing in the background. You can see all mine. It's over there on the Discord. And if you're not on the Discord, why not? Right here's our Discord. You hop on it, you click on continue to Discord. Once you get to continue to Discord, here you are. Here's the general chat. Tons of people in here hanging out, talking. We have over 40 channels for subscribers to talk in. General chat is free. You don't have to pay for that one. But if you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you. Here's how you subscribe. Click the LaunchPass link. LaunchPass sends you here. You can pay with any card, $16 a month. Yes, a massive whopping $16 a month. And we may have special promotions coming up soon, so keep a lookout. Now, yesterday, stocks had a really nice move up, didn't they? Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, Johnson & Johnson, United Healthcare, and many others. One didn't. That was Tesla. Oof. So, what do I see here on Tesla? Not great. I see there's a gap here that formed on the weekly opening, and it hasn't closed that gap yet. Very sharp downtrend. Very sharp. And what I see is the weekly chart failing the 100 moving average. Not great. If it fails the 100 moving average and cannot recapture it, you're going to get a bearish retest of that and a move down to the 200 moving average. My goodness. Can you see Tesla at 150 something, 160 something? Whoo, boy, there's going to be some upset people if it gets that low. However, I know a lot of people who'd be willing to buy that level, right? So what's next? The weekly is pointing down. All indicators have rolled over and started to play dead here. I can't express enough to you how dangerous it can be to continue to try buying a downtrend. We've done this 1,000 times on live streams. Play with the trend or else you will get burned. You get no golden cross here. It almost golden crossed and faked you out and is now running dead ass sideways. I think best case scenario, this thing pulls back up and tags this two. We're lagging again. Unreal. There we go. I think best case scenario, we run up and tag this 263 line. And that's still bearish. So why are we all thinking that crypto is going to go flying up? Every chart across the board is saying, hold up. Maybe you should think about this a little bit first. Maybe this isn't such a good idea. I don't like being pessimistic Patty. I don't like that shit. Same time, I got to keep it real with you. I can't bullshit you. I've stuck to my guns on this stuff, and I refuse to come on here and bullshit people. I'm not going to start now. I got to keep it 100 with you, and I just see bearish stuff everywhere. If I'm the only YouTuber coming on here and telling you this stuff, and they all got to hate me for it, if that helps people save money, then so be it. I don't want to see anyone lose. I don't want to see anyone get roasted. It kills me watching it happen, because then I get to talk to you guys personally about how much money you lost. And I don't like having those conversations with you guys. I really don't. I want to have good conversations about how much money you've made, not about how much money you've lost. All right, so a couple comments over here. I can't believe I won last week. Thank God I played biting donkeys. I know, right? Maybe you should bet on the 49ers D instead of Stafford. Our league doesn't have defense, so you can't. And it's a 2-quarterback league, so I played 2 quarterbacks. Zach Wilson was the other one I played, and he did very well. So you could actually offset the numbers and say they were about even. Plus, I just don't like the 49ers. I'm a Panthers fan. What do you expect? There's a cross in September 2008, I think, from the 50-100. Not look good. Right. On the NASDAQ, on the daily maybe, but not the weekly. You can't see it yet. It doesn't even exist. Musk going to be selling $2 billion in Tesla to buy Twitter. Yeah, interesting that you bring that up. Is that a smart move? Is that a bad move? As the last chart, let's look at Tesla. Let's look at Twitter, right? I put this on Twitter to prove a point to everyone. Right here inside this circle is from September 14th till now. All right, but as you see, we had this big, huge green dildo come flying out of the top of it. We take a step back for a moment, remove all of our indicators. What do we see? Very, very pronounced trend, a very large downtrend starting all the way back in February, tagging the line in July, tagging it one more time in October, failing miserably since this. This is back in 2021, failing miserably since then, pulling all the way down and struggling to gain ground. It created a secondary trend line here, which formed a triangle. Said triangle broke out. It broke out on September 28th. Yesterday was the big news that Twitter was going to be bought again for the 4th time by Elon. You had multiple days to see this before the news ever came out. This was sitting on top of the trend line waiting for you to buy it. Zoom in real nice and big for everyone there who doesn't get it. Can you see it now? 1, 2, 3, 4 days sitting there doing nothing, including a weekend for you to think about that shit while you were getting drunk and partying because you made a couple dollars on AVAX or Ethereum. You could have bought this at $42 and it went all the way up to $51. And I believe Elon agreed to buy it at 54.5 a share. So I think you're going to see it come back to 54.5 a share. If that happens, where's it going to stop? Well, there's a trend line up here. I bet you it tags this trend line and drives sideways down for a bit. We get a breach of this trend line. Once we get a breach of the trend line, we can start talking about more bullish stuff in the future. Once that happens, hold on a minute. I muted myself, my bad. Anyway, I'm just saying the same thing again about the trend line breaking and damn doodles, man. Them dog has to bark at everything she's ever seen. It's so annoying. She knows the person that was walking around right there. Still barking and raising hell. Whatever. Anyway, sorry. Muted since dog bark. Yep, had to do it. It was so loud, right? Anyway, we had porn bots too, which is awesome. You know you've made it when you got porn bots in the chat box down here. See that right there? Porn bots. Let's go. That's when you know you made it a long way in life. I thought she was barking at the spammer. That's great. Anyway, that's been 30 minutes. We only do 30 minutes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We do a full hour tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 p.m. to do this all again, look over the markets again, leading into the weekend. We'll see what's happening by then. Please come join us over in the Discord after this. We have a voice chat from 2:30 to 3 o'clock, question and answer. If anybody wants to come hang out and do that, that's for subscribers. You can come hang out, ask questions directly to me. Till then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be good. In the words of the late, great, notorious B.I.G., you could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me. Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.